Ellen arrived at Aunt May's place on a sweltering Saturday morning, just as she had promised. The old Victorian house sat at the end of a long gravel drive, shaded by towering oak trees dripping with Spanish moss. It was a place of refuge and healing, where troubled young women came to rebuild their lives. On the front porch swing sat Hannah, the only permanent resident besides Aunt May herself. Hannah's round face was flushed, strands of hair escaping her ponytail as she frowned at Ellen over the top of her Goosebumps book. "You're late," Hannah accused. "How can I be late? I said I'd be here Saturday morning and it's... Aunt May is already gone." "Gone?" Ellen sighed. "It's only for one night, Hannah. I'm here to keep you company. Remember?" "I know that," Hannah grumbled. "May told me." Her gaze settled on the object in Ellen's hand. "Where did you get that?" "I found it in the driveway. Must have fallen out of someone's car." Ellen held up the used pregnancy test, its faded blue lines still visible. "It's not mine," Hannah said quickly. "Of course it's not. Let me fix your hair." Ellen set down her bags and retrieved a brush, hoping to settle Hannah before she got too riled up. As she gathered the unruly brown locks into a neater ponytail, she noted Hannah had gained some weight since she last saw her. No matter, Hannah was healthy and strong, a multi-medalist in the Special Olympics. Inside, the house hummed with quiet activity. The dining room had been converted to a study space with bookshelves and computers. Self-help books on addiction, anxiety, abuse, and enlightenment shared shelf space with tomes on Buddhism and herbal medicine. At one of the desks sat Mindy, a brunette with a glass eye. She jumped up excitedly when Ellen entered. "Do you believe in soulmates? I found mine. His name is Shane." Ellen peered at the photo on Mindy's Facebook page, a handsome young man with a slightly crooked smile. He reminded Ellen of the boys who used to line the school hallways, calling out ratings as girls walked by. The memory made her cringe. In the kitchen, Faith and Rose were huddled together. A stark contrast, Faith with her angelic face and pregnant belly, Rose with pink hair, piercings, and meth-rotted teeth. They bantered about the pregnancy test, each denying it was theirs. "Why are you holding that anyway?" Rose asked Ellen. "Found it outside. Figured I'd throw it away." "I went to the free clinic," Rose said with a shrug. She eyed Faith's swollen middle. "Going to be hard giving it away if you don't know who the dad is." "Jared wants to be here for me," Faith insisted. "He just can't right now." Ellen frowned. In her old job with social services, she knew secrets like this often spelled trouble. To break the tension, Ellen offered to make an ice cream run. She took requests chocolate and vanilla for Hannah, orange cream for Faith, toffee for Rose. Mindy tagged along, chattering the whole way about her wonderful new boyfriend Shane. At the store, while Ellen grabbed the ice cream, Mindy disappeared down the feminine care aisle. She was waiting by the checkout, a secretive smile on her face as she swung a small white bag. Back at the house, the doorbell rang. Hannah went to answer it, scolding the visitor about strange men and swearing. Ellen intervened, ushering in a very real, very flustered-looking Shane. "Mindy talks about you constantly," Rose said with a smirk. "We thought she made you up." Shane paled. "I'm just here to ask her to stop calling me." Poor Mindy. She flounced into the room in a short skirt, makeup already melting in the heat. Ignoring Hannah's protests about men in the bedrooms, she dragged Shane to the basement for a private talk. "Boys are not allowed," Hannah fumed. "It's against the rules." Ellen calmed her, promising to speak with May later. Rose needled Hannah about her own boyfriend getting her in trouble, but Ellen cut her off. "Stop acting like a child. Leave Hannah alone." Minutes later, Shane re-emerged, face ashen, and bolted out the door without a word. An uneasy silence descended. Faith heaved herself up, scratching at her heat rash and bemoaning her bowling ball belly. Rose took a jab. At least she wasn't irresponsibly having a baby she couldn't care for. Faith shook her head, insisting Jared would step up. "Someone's watched too many Disney movies," Rose scoffed. Faith flipped her off and waddled upstairs. Sighing, Ellen went to check on Mindy. She found her sobbing on her bed, a positive pregnancy test on the bathroom sink. But peeking under the vanity, Ellen spotted the test Mindy bought at the store and used. "Did you tell Shane this was yours? That you're pregnant?" "I could be," Mindy whimpered. "He didn't use a rubber." "But you're not, are you?" Mindy dissolved into fresh sobs. Why wasn't he happy? Why doesn't he love me? Heart aching, Ellen could only stroke the girl's hair. "I don't know, sweetheart. I don't know." She returned upstairs to find Hannah demolishing another ice cream bar, insisting it was only her first when Ellen questioned her. "I'm not lying," she maintained, staring hard at the test in Ellen's hand. "That's not mine." Ellen started to argue, but then she really looked at Hannah. Suddenly, her new roundness took on fresh meaning: full breasts, a gently swelling belly. Could it be? Ellen turned away to hide the shock on her face, the pieces clicking into place. Why hadn't she seen it sooner? Hannah's insistence on rules, her defensiveness about her boyfriend Ben. Composing herself, Ellen faced Hannah again. "We need to talk," she said gently. "I think there are some things you haven't been fully honest about." "I don't lie." Hannah crossed her arms defiantly over her stomach. "I know, sweetie, you're a good person, but sometimes we keep things hidden, even from ourselves, when we're scared or confused." "Does Aunt May know about the baby?" Hannah's eyes went wide. "Baby? There's no baby." Ellen placed a hand on her arm. "It's okay. I'm not mad. I want to help. This is a big thing and you shouldn't go through it alone." "When did this happen with Ben?" "Ben isn't my boyfriend. He's just my friend. I'm not allowed to date." Hannah's eyes brimmed with tears. "Okay, so maybe not Ben, but someone got you pregnant, hon. Do you know who it was? Did they hurt you?" A tear tracked down Hannah's cheek. She sniffed loudly. "I didn't want to. He made me."
Ellenes stomach clenched.
She wrapped Hannah in a tight hug as the girl began to sob. "Oh, Hannah, I'm so sorry. This isn't your fault." She held Hannah while she cried, mind reeling. All this time, Hannah had been dealing with this trauma and violation all alone. But not anymore. When the tears subsided, Ellen smoothed Hannah's hair and looked into her eyes. "Here's what we're going to do. I'll help you tell Aunt May. We'll get you to a doctor to make sure you and the baby are healthy. And if you want, we can look into counseling to help you work through this. I'll be with you every step." Hannah clung to her. "What if May is mad? What if she makes me leave?" "She won't. May loves you so much. This won't change that. We'll make sure you're taken care of, I promise." Ellen meant it with every fiber of her being. She would be Hannah's rock and advocate. And she would find out who did this to her. The monster who took advantage of her sweet, trusting nature. They wouldn't get away with it. As she comforted Hannah, Ellen reflected on the other girls under this roof, each facing their own struggles and traumas, fighting to build better lives. Aunt May's place was more than a shelter. It was a beacon in the darkness, a port in the storm, a place where the lost could be found. Ellen would do her part to uphold that legacy. For Hannah, for Faith and Rose, for Mindy, and for every girl who would come through these doors in the future. She couldn't fix all their problems or shield them from life's cruelties, but she could walk beside them, a hand to hold in the darkest of times. Outside, the sun began to set, painting the sky in streaks of orange and pink. Crickets sang in the heavy evening air. And inside the weathered walls of Aunt May's place, hope quietly took root, fragile yet stubborn. A reminder that even the most broken among us can heal and grow. Hannah shifted in Ellen's arms, pulling back to look at her with red-rimmed eyes. "Will you stay with me tonight? I don't want to be alone." Ellen smiled and squeezed her hand. "Of course, I'm not going anywhere." Together, they climbed the stairs to Hannah's room, ready to face whatever the night would bring. In the morning, Ellen knew there would be difficult conversations and painful admissions. But for now, her only task was to help one frightened girl feel safe and loved. The rest could wait until dawn.